Hi Libras, and welcome to your June 2019 Astrology 33 reading. We have a Celtic cross spread in front of us as always. You guys got some extra cards that came out there. And we also have some oracle cards that we read through after we get through the main spread to help tie everything together. And also a mudra card. So quite a bit to get to. Before I forget, for those of you who want to book a personal reading with me, follow me on Instagram, or to donate to the channel, check out the description of the video for more info on all that. And also keep an eye out on this channel, because after I'm done with these general readings, I'm going to do a little something extra for each of the other signs. So definitely keep an eye out for that. Like I said, it'll be after all of the general readings are done. I'll be posting some additional videos. All right. So let's get started with the main spread here. So in the main situation position, we have the Four of Cups. So this is actually a card of Cancer energy, the last 10 degrees of Cancer. And there's going to be some stuff going on in those degrees. I believe towards the end of June, maybe the middle of June, Mercury is going to be moving through those degrees. So that could be when you're thinking about a certain situation that you're not quite happy with, but yet and still you're not quite ready to move on from it either. When I see this card, this is usually a frustrating energy, the way I see it, because, if we look at this person's energy, their arms are crossed, right? So they don't appear to be happy with what's being offered to them, right? But there's just going to be more of that coming because they're not communicating in any way that they don't want it, right? If we think of the arms crossed position, I almost think of like a child having a tantrum, right? So, no offense if that's the energy you're in right now, but my point being is that, okay, if you're not happy with these cups, right, the universe doesn't know that. The universe is like, okay, well, they're staying there. You must be okay with this, and it's going to give you more and more of the same. So what it could be saying there is, this is the energy you're in right now. You're getting stuff that you don't want, and more of that is going to continue to come your way as long as you stay in that position of just sitting there and taking it, right? So if we look at that tree almost like the comfort, right? You want to be in the comfort of the shade, but at the same time, being there is actually hurting your progress in a way, because you're just going to keep getting more and more of what you don't want. Whereas if we look at the Eight of Cups energy, for example, the Eight of Cups is very similar energy, except the difference is the person's actually taking the steps to do something about the situation, right? By that point, there's 8 cups that have accumulated, and they finally say, you know what, I have to get up and move away from this, and go after what I do want, instead of just sitting around and letting more of what I don't want come my way. So, it could be the lesson there. It could be about asserting yourself in some way, shape, or form. All right, and then in the challenger obstacle position, we have the Hanged Man. If I could get it to focus. Fitting that the Hanged Man won't focus, because, that's a card that could represent some confusion to begin with. But with this in a challenger obstacle position, this could just be saying that the challenge for you is to look at things from a different angle. I often see this as a card of Pisces, and Pisces is actually your 6th house. So this could just be regarding, your work life, your day-to-day routine, health. It could just be what you're needing to look at right now. And then Neptune is actually going to go retrograde in the sign of Pisces towards the end of June as well. So, maybe that'll help you see things a little bit more clearly. If you're looking for maybe waiting for a timeline when that clarity can come to you, that might be it. But yeah, this could just be saying that, and again, I think that could be spelling it out, which is to say, okay, you're not happy, right, with what you're getting. If you're, like we said, this card is an energy of someone who's not pleased with what they're being offered. But okay, well, what do you want, right? If that's not what you want, then you might have to go get up and go get what you do want. The good thing is, if that's the vibe, if I'm picking up on that vibe correctly, in the foundation position, you guys have the Magician card. So this is a card that, has manifestation power written all over it. As an energy, it represents to me a couple of things. Jupiter energy comes to mind when I think of this card. Also South Node. So, South Node can be letting some things that no longer serve you go, and also getting in touch with innate abilities that you've had that maybe let lie dormant. Um, so that could be what's going on there. But then, on a more simple basis, the magician is just having all of the tools at your disposal, right? And the ability to utilize them to your advantage. So that could be what this is saying here in the foundation position. They're pointing right at, he's pointing right up at that Four of Cups and that Hangman, saying, hey, if you want a different outcome from what you're dealing with right now, it's saying that you have the power to change that. In the past position, we have the Eight of Swords. So again, this is another energy. This actually represents the first 10 degrees of Gemini. So even though I'm recording this in May, for those of you, if you don't see this until June, this could even just be pointing at you being in this energy while the sun was moving through those first 10 degrees of Gemini. That's certainly a possibility. This could even be talking about when Mars was moving through there, because that was the last big transit that moved through those last 10 degrees of Gemini before it moved on into Cancer. So this could just be saying that you were feeling stuck in some way regarding taking action. And, with that blindfold on, it's almost like just getting too trapped in your thoughts to where you're really, not letting yourself move forward from something. So that's the main vibe there. Trying to think if anything else comes to mind with this. But yeah, basically it represents not wanting to look at something and not wanting to make a move. And, in a way it might sound like I'm being a little bit harsh with you guys after the way we described that than talking about this in the past. But like I said, the good thing is, especially with these major arcanas at play, I feel like whether you want to or not, things are going to shift for you this month, whether you're ready to make that move. And usually it's better when you are the one in control of that rather than letting things karmically take the wheel for you, but to each their own. In the present position, we have the Sun. Good card to have, one of the best cards you could have. And to me, this could just be pointing to maybe with the Sun moving into a fellow air sign, right, which will have it for the first few weeks of June. Maybe that actually is helping you see things from a different perspective, right? Because the ninth house could represent that, looking at the bigger picture and, looking at your beliefs and philosophies and maybe, seeing what fits, what doesn't. Another way that this could be playing out too is just saying, reconnecting with a playful energy, feeling more like yourself again, reconnecting with what, brings you joy, basically. So definitely a big contrast from that Four of Cups energy that we saw at the beginning, and even the Eight of Swords there in the past as well. So to me, this can represent definite positive progress for you. Maybe you were going through a tough stretch with all those transits going through Aries, because what I say to people is, when transits are going through your seventh house, especially if it's in a relationship dynamic, it can make you feel like the odds are stacked against you, right? Like the people across from you, they have the power, right? So, maybe you might have felt like you were at the whim of other people in the past, but now with those energies being cleared out of that area of your life, maybe now you feel like, okay, now I'm feeling more balanced again and ready to move forward. But what's interesting is in the near future position, we have the Four of Swords, the Seven of Swords, and the Six of Cups. So an interesting assortment of cards to come out in that position. First off, this is actually a card of Libra. So the last 10 degrees of Libra. So if you have a placement there, maybe this is going to resonate with you a little bit more, whether it's your sun, moon, your rising sign, whatever. But to me, this represents healing. So maybe that's what it is. Maybe you have been looking at, okay, well, I'm not happy with this situation, right? But maybe with that magician energy and the sun, maybe the sun just more represents light shining on the situation for you to see it a little bit more clearly. So maybe that's what's really been going on there. Maybe, It's really just been forcing you to look at things and see, okay, well, what can I do to better the situation, right? Maybe that's what's going on there. And then with the Seven of Swords at play, this could just be saying that, you might have experienced some kind of a deception. Now, given that it is in the future position, this could also be saying that the deception is still on its way to you. But I'm picking up more on the vibe with it being right after the Four of Swords, that I feel like it's more pointing to something that already took place, saying that that's what you're healing from. But yes, it is possible that for some of you, this could still be coming your way. And then with the Six of Cups, to me, it could be someone from your past that, might have been the cause of the deception. So, maybe someone that you trusted from the past deceive you, right? Maybe they even came back around and extended you an offer, and maybe you thought everything was good, and then you found out that they were still being deceptive. So that could be what you're healing from in that regard. And then for others of you, this could play out a little bit differently. This could just be saying that, even maybe possibly self-deception, given what we were talking about with maybe, not seeing your role in things and maybe actually reconnecting with someone from the past. Extending them the olive branch, right? I sometimes refer to this as the being the bigger person card because of the size difference between the two people, and it looks like the bigger person is extending the cup to the other. So, maybe if you realize, okay, well, maybe I wasn't being fully truthful with a person in the past, so maybe I contributed to the situation going the way it did, right? That could be the way it's playing out. But for the majority of you, I feel more like it's like you're healing from some kind of deception from the past with someone in your past. All right, in the position of your influence on the situation, we have the Tower in reverse. So, most people always go into a panic when they do see the Tower. I would say, on the one hand, having it in reverse is better. But more importantly, I would say having it in the position of your influence on the situation is the better part. Because to me, that's saying that you're in control of this. And we already see the magician in the position of the foundation, too. So to me, that's another point that says, hey, you have manifestation power this month. So think of it that way. Let me put in the upright while we talk about it. But what that could say to me is that if there's something that needs to go, what that could be saying is be careful what you wish for if you want to keep it around. If you've gotten signs and signals from the universe, because usually I view that lightning bolt as like a divine intervention type thing, which is to say, technically something like that shouldn't cause that amount of damage to something like this, right? So could just be saying that it really rocks a foundation that wasn't too sturdy to begin with. So this could have just been a belief system that you had that maybe you built up, and then you get some kind of realization that, well, actually, maybe this isn't true at all, right? Whether it be about a person, a job, whatever the case may be, just a general belief system. You had something, there's been an attempt to intervene to show you, well, maybe it's not exactly what you think it is, but you decide to turn a blind eye to it. So the thing is, with the Tower in reverse, yes, those people do have a much better chance of landing on their feet with it in reverse, but it doesn't look like it's going to be the healthiest fall either way. So to me, that could just be saying that, something that's meant to fall out of your life, you might decide to hold on to it. And, to me, what that's saying is if that's the case with the Tower in the reverse, maybe that's not the best idea because it could just be delaying the inevitable, essentially. On the flip side of that, if there's a situation that you might know that you actually caused some damage to by what you were doing or were not doing, right? Then that could just be saying, okay, you can save it from that calamity, but there's still going to be work to be done if that's the case. And then we see even more of that energy because in the position of the foundation, the environment's influence on the situation, we have the Ten of Pentacles in reverse. So to me, this is another thing that could point to a lack of stability. But what I will say is, having the Ten of Pentacles on the table is a sign that there is potential there. So again, to me, everything that I'm seeing points back to this Magician card in the foundation, which is to say, you do have the power to turn this right side up, but it will take some effort on your part. So, and this could just even be you evaluating your views around money, quite frankly, because with the 10 of Pentacles in reverse, that could just be saying that the transits at play right now, you guys had a full moon in your second house that was kind of intense, right? So it could just be saying in that regard that maybe it's how it had you reevaluating how you might view finances, right? How you viewed your goals. Like, for example, I say even with the Ten of Pentacles in the upright, sometimes the person here, we do make the assumption a lot of the times that yes, this is all one family, right? This is like the grandfather with his grandchild, and whether this is his kid or this is his kid, it's like the couple comes through with the family. It's like family ties, that structure foundation. But another way I say that you could look at it is this could be someone looking back on, maybe they dedicated their lives to their careers, so they got that financial success, but it was at the expense of having a love life like that and a family like that. So it could be reevaluating those values. You guys have a lot going on in your fourth house right now, which is about family, beliefs you grew up with early on in life, and that's a very karmic house for you right now. You have Saturn and the South Node moving together in retrograde through that house. You have Pluto in retrograde in that house. So could just be reevaluating how you view those structures as a whole, because like I said, in your second house, you had that full moon. That was kind of intense. And in your eighth house, you have Uranus, and your ruler actually transited past Uranus as well. So, ruler, you're ruled by Venus. And Taurus is another Venus ruled house too. So that could just be, maybe that causes you to reevaluate how you view your relationship with money, and how you might view, its importance in your life, or maybe how you earn it, how much you need the other person in your life to make, all kinds of things like that. But yeah, if this does just represent another person, this could just be saying that would be more about you maybe not speaking up, right? You might feel like they're not giving you that stability you want, right? But to me, with that Ten of Pentacles on the table, you can turn that around, but it might have to come down to you speaking up about what you want, right? Another thing with that full moon in your second house could have done is had you really looking at your values as far as self-worth goes, and saying, okay, what am I willing to put up with? What am I not willing to put up with, right? And maybe now you just have to vocalize that. So that could be what's at play there. And, like I said, with the Ten of Pentacles in reverse, it'll take some work, but it could just be as simple as you need to let them know what you need, and then you could turn that around, It's better to have it on the table than not have it at all in that regard. So, in the position of your hopes or fears, we have the Devil. So, this actually is this is a Capricorn card, and we were just talking about your fourth house and all the stuff going on there. So I'm getting more of a vibe that for some of you, this could just be a fear, and this could be a fear of maybe you fear, maybe this is someone that you do want to separate from, right? If it is a connection, but you're having difficulty doing so. So maybe you're just hoping to break the chains there, as far as if this is a karmic connection that you're coming to the realization that, yeah, you know what, this isn't the right connection for me, but you're just having difficulty walking away from it. And that's what you're fearing. Like, okay, am I going to be able to muster up the strength to finally walk away from this once and for all, right? Because maybe in that regard, it's saying that you realize that this situation is never going to lead to the Ten of Pentacles you might want, right? Another way this could play out, it could also play out as a hope, though, saying that maybe you want to restore passion in your relationship. Because, that could be one way that this is playing out, too, with the cards I play, which is to say maybe there was a lack of passion in the connection. Either way, we do have the Death card at the bottom of the deck, which is actually the Major Arcana card for Scorpio, and it's headed right towards the Devil. So what I would say is, that's why I was saying I feel like whether you actually take the action or you let the universe take the wheel, I'm really getting the feeling that things will be taken from your life if they're no longer meant to be there this month. And again, this could just be pointing to the fact that we had that full moon in Scorpio as well. So it could have really been something rather important for you guys. Either way you want to slice it, the good news is, in the outcome position, you guys got the Queen of Swords. So this is actually the court card for your sign, and it's in the upright. So this could just be saying that through whatever was going on for you guys this month, at the end of the day, you end up on your feet and right back in your power. So definitely a positive way for this all to end. Like I said, even with these things that we see here in the reverse position, that could play out maybe a good way, maybe a bad way. I would say having this in the outcome kind of solidifies that whatever the case may be, whether it is you taking the action or not, it looks like by the time the month is done, you guys should be feeling a lot more in your power and feeling that balance that you guys like so much. So definitely a good card to have there. This could represent you finally vocalizing what it is you do want, right? Like I said, if you just feel like that Four of Cups energy, okay, I keep getting more and more of what I don't want. Okay, well, maybe you need to speak up about what you do want, right? And then maybe you're fearing that, okay, well, what if I do say that, and then the connection falls apart, right? Maybe that's what you're fearing, so you're like hesitant to do that because you feel like it will bring a tower moment, but it's saying, okay, you're just delaying the inevitable, because eventually there's going to be resentment that builds up, you name it, and then more damage could be done by not speaking up in that regard. So something to think about there. But like I said, either way, there's some, even with the negativity with these cards, and like I said, maybe even it might have sounded like I was being a little bit harsh with you guys. I really do feel like you guys have some really good energy on the table that would definitely supersede the more negative stuff. I mean, the Magician, two pretty positive major arcana cards in the upright could definitely override that Four of Cups, Eight of Swords energy. And yes, you do have the Tower in reverse, but like I said, I already covered why I think that, that could really be up to you how that plays out. So really, you guys have a lot of power this month as far as determining how things play out. All right. So the first oracle card you guys got is Message in a Bottle. There's the artwork for it, and the number is 15. So we'll take a look at that. The essential meaning says communication, a sign, a claydon, and then in parentheses it says the ancient name for a spontaneous oracle delivered innocently by the speaker, pointing the way to your highest good. The oracle's message. Spirit sends you signs when you ask for them, when you believe you will receive them, and when you allow yourself to become fluent in the language of symbols, oracles, and omens. They may come to you as a bird flying by, a logo on a truck, and a song on the radio. Expect confirmation that you're pointed in the right direction. Keep your ears open, for someone might say just the right thing that will give you the answer to your query. Today your message is this: Spirit hears you and the reply is favorable. So what stuck out to me with that was expect confirmation that you're pointed in the right direction. Like I was saying, in the outcome position, we have the Queen of Swords, right? And the upright. So to me, that almost emphasizes that message there. And as far as the sign goes, definitely pay attention to that as well. Like it said, if you're still a little bit unsure, which is definitely possible with that Four of Cups and even the Four of Swords in the near future, saying, if you trust that you can get a sign, that'll let you know. Just and that could be what the Hangman energy is about. It's like saying maybe you need to trust your intuition a little bit more, look at things from a different perspective, and maybe things will come to you in that context. All right, the relationship message says you can expect someone to favor you with positive news. This could be in the form of a letter, phone call, or email. You are the intended receiver of this message, so stay open to what you learn. Only good will come of it in the end. The signs are all there. So, I didn't necessarily see a big communication vibe as far as from someone else. Like we said, we had that 10 of Pentacles in the reverse there. But maybe that could be that Six of Cups energy, right? So maybe if someone did do something a bit deceptive towards you in the past. Maybe they could be extending you an olive branch. Whether you want to trust that or not, again, like it said, rely on your intuition a little bit in that regard, but maybe that's what's at play here. All right, the prosperity message says, you are on target with your purpose and your passion. You are coming into alignment with your destiny, and Spirit wants you to know that you're on the right track. Expect a call, a new opportunity, or a message from an old friend or business contact that will lead you closer to your dreams and greatest desires. Spirit has been listening to you. So, another positive card there, right? Positive message there. So, hopefully you guys got something from that as well. And now next we'll look at the second oracle card you guys got. So this is actually from the Spirit Animal Oracle, and you guys got Moth Spirit. It says surrender now. There's the artwork for it, and the number is 39. So we'll see what that has to say. Okay, it says Moth Spirit asks, what is guiding you right now? Are you in alignment with Spirit, or pursuing something or someone with so much tenacity that it has become a compulsion or addiction? Are you so intoxicated by a potential relationship or opportunity that you can't think straight? Hard work and dedication are virtues, and love, of course, is a beautiful thing. However, when Moth Spirit appears, it is time to consider if you have gone over the edge in a relentless pursuit. Workaholism, overeating, perfectionism, or addiction to certainty or even to a person may be your current vice. The form of your addiction does not matter so much as awareness of the consequences of remaining persistent when moderation is needed. Let go of your excessive energy by channeling it in more than one direction. The fire burns hot, and you do not want to be engulfed by your passion to the exclusion of all the other pursuits that matter to you. Now is a time for surrender and radical acceptance so that your drive does not cause you to flee or fight. Spirit wants you to release your need for certainty and control so that you can relax into a more balanced way of using your Moth Spirit energy. Banish the shoulds and must so that you can enjoy what is as you allow for what might be. So that's interesting there. In my personal opinion, that oracle message seems to resonate a lot better with this general spread than the first oracle card did, but hopefully you guys got something from both. But yeah, it definitely stood out to me. What made me really popped up in my head was the devil energy. Like I was saying, you might fear that you might have difficulty breaking away from a connection that you might see now isn't the healthiest for you. Like we said, we have the Tower in reverse there as well, which is to say, you might be delaying the inevitable. And maybe that's what that Four of Swords is about too. The Four of Swords, the Seven of Swords, Six of Cups. Saying that, really you know that this is an unhealthy connection, but you might still just feel this pull to go back to it. And that happens a lot with those devil energy type connections. They're very much karmic connections, and really they will tend to replay themselves until you learn the lesson. This card and then this spread as a whole seems to support saying this is a great time to learn that lesson. So something to keep in mind there and actually act on it as well. All right, and then lastly we have a mudra card. So for those of you who haven't seen my videos from this year, I've been pulling mudra cards for all the signs this year, and basically what mudras are, they're hand gestures that you use while meditating, and they're meant to help clear blockages, whether they be more on the mental, emotional level, or sometimes even on the physical level. And the mudra you guys got this month is this one right here, and it's the Granthita Mudra. All right, so I'll turn the card around, so I'll hold it up for a bit so you guys can pause it or take a screenshot to actually see what it has to say. But yeah, it says under benefits, prepares the mind for meditation, opens Vishuddha chakra, which is the throat chakra, benefits the voice, improves thyroid function, increases the body's self-healing capacity, especially in cases of cancer. So, something to think about there. Opening the throat chakra, so maybe that supports what I was saying, as far as maybe you really need to speak up if there is something that you're unhappy with. You have to vocalize that, and maybe that's what that Queen of Swords in the outcome represents, which is to say that you will. And then if that's the case, you could get that positive progress, even if it is to find out that, yes, that might not be the connection for you, but maybe it finally breaks those chains that you're worried about, so you can get to the correct one. All right, guys, so in a way, it's a heavy month, but like I said, it does look like things will play out in your favor one way or another. So we'll wrap up there, and I'll see you guys next month. Bye.